to the NFA Review channel. We're going to try something a little new today, a little Q&A with Gary Hughes and Mike Pappas of Dead Air Silencers. They were in town this week, and tomorrow actually we're going to film a review on their Ghost 45. So we're going to ask Mike and Gary some questions on them. Actually, we'll go ahead and just kick that off right away. Mike, my biggest question is, the endcap idea was awesome. Whose idea was that? How did it come to be? Was it in its initial design, or is it something that was added later?
That was Gary's idea, and it happened, I don't know, kind of part way through, about where you guess, huh?
Yeah, I would hesitate to say it was just my idea. I mean, it's collaborative effort, but what happened was any of the short cans that are out there, as you well know, are pretty loud. Mm-hmm. And so even though our can is good wet, I really kind of wanted to have a way to get away from shooting wet.
Right.
And be able to have it still be hearing safe.
Right.
So the wipe was just kind of something that I said, why don't we put a wipe in it?
Old school meets new school.
Yeah,
why not?
Let's put a wipe in it and see what it does. You know, just an endcap wipe.
Yeah.
So we tried it. It's kind of funny. We actually went out on the sales floor of this store that we use for sound testing, and I actually cut a wipe out of a piece of packaging. Okay. And we kind of shoved it in there, and we had the sound meter, and we were testing it to see if it had any measurable difference, and it did. So then we kind of pursued that a little and experimented with different front cap designs and different materials and, you know, all those kind of things until we arrived at what we've got now, which actually works pretty well.
This is my favorite part about my job here, is that hearing those backstories like that, how stuff came to be. I jotted it down on a napkin story or whatnot, like just you going out back and testing it. That's pretty cool. You see this modular concept as far as length changing from short to long and end cap. Do you see that moving down the line in other cans that we're going to see?
Yeah, I think so. I think the modularity concept is here to stay. The thing with a modular can is it just adds more flexibility, more usability for the customers, and customers are looking for a lot of times that very versatile solution.
Yes.
You know, especially newer customers. Newer customers are looking for the can to kind of
bang for your buck.
Yeah, bang for your buck, kind of do everything. To a certain degree, I think sometimes that can be harmful, because when you buy something that does everything, it doesn't do anything well.
Right.
But when you start staying within a specific range, let's say pistol calibers, you know, likely you're going to be shooting 35 caliber to 45 caliber for combat class handguns.
Right.
You can do that. You can get away with having a modular unit and still get really good performance, short and long. Mm-hmm. When you start trying to get into shooting 22 through a 50 caliber hole, not so much.
Okay, now for me, the main, let me put this down here. I want this for the ultimate nightstand gun.
Right.
I mean, it's short, 45 caliber can. I have it on a Glock 17 right now by Innovative Gunfighter Solutions, but it'll probably live on like a 6-hour P220 45, you know, 9 rounds of 45 kick-ass and a quiet package with a wipe in it. What more do you want? I think what we're going to find is a lot of the veteran suppressor owners, I guess you could say, they're really going to be loving this idea, because they don't really want maximum suppression. They want like a package that can quiet it down under 140, be manageable as far as length, not blow your eardrums out in the middle of the night, and just sound really, I mean, you agree with me on that one?
Solid idea.
Yeah, I mean, how cool is that? The wipe thing just really, I didn't see that coming, and I have a pretty good
Neither did we.
of things that are coming. And I was like, yeah, frick, why didn't I think of that? That was great. I mean, just add it to an existing...
Well, it's not the first time it's been done.
No.
You know, it's been done. It's kind of the first time it's been applied in this format.
Yeah, like the modular meets centerfire.
Yeah, it's what I've been telling people is it's a very old technology mixed with a very modern baffle stack. Mm-hmm. And that led to somewhat of an unexpected result on the front side.
Right.
But it works, and it works well.
Switching gears here from the Ghost, I've noticed that a lot of precision shooters are starting to find out that the Sandman series is tightening up groups. Have you guys heard that, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah.
We hear that from people all the time, so love that.
Now, I noticed on my
It's what you want to
RPR,
hear.
Yeah, my Ruger Precision in 6.5, I noticed it shifted the group a little bit, which is fine as long as you know
Sure.
where to change it, unsuppressed and suppressed.
Well,
Which who
if
the hell
it's-
shoots unsuppressed anyway?
If it's repeatable,
Exactly, and it was. We noticed we were shooting much tighter groups. I mean, it shot great already, but it was shooting really tight groups with the can on it, and that's what brought me up to go hit the forums and kind of research it. So, have you heard that as well? I mean, a lot.
if you add some weight to your barrel, it's going to move it a little bit, but it can also help to stabilize it. And as that projectile's going down the bore, if it helps to point it in the same direction, it's going to
Yeah, I think
tighten up.
I think a lot of the newer can owners, I think they get stuck on the fact that the baffle design is changing a lot of the point of impact shift.
It's
But
the weight.
it's the weight and the barrel harmonics and flex when it's shooting is.
Yeah, and
I
what
think a
I
lot
tell
of them miss
people, what I tell people most often is, it's not so much the can is not going to tell you how much point of impact shift that you have. There's a generality you can use that the lighter a can is, the less point of impact shift it will have, and that's generally true, but not always.
Right.
It has a lot more to do with barrel.
Barrel
There's a lot-
contour.
Exactly.
Yep.
So there's a lot of people that they ask us that about every time that we go and talk to somebody about it. They bring up point of impact shift, and I tell them it's more a function of your individual gun, and I can't predict what it will do.
Right.
You may see little to no point of impact shift, or you may see a couple minutes.
Right.
It just depends on your individual gun, and
Right.
as people start to realize that, and they realize the real feature is the repeatability.
Right.
Does it return to zero from can off to can on?
Right.
And our mount, as I'm sure Mike would agree, is one of the best at
Yeah.
doing that.
A lot of my viewers out there are probably wondering if you guys have any government contracts yet, or is that something that you'd have to tell me and kill me?
No, we kind of planned on killing you anyway. So,
Yeah, I saw that cover, so I have a little plan for that. But
well, we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, if this video gets seen, then obviously it didn't work for us.
yeah,
There goes that alibi.
yeah. They were never here. They were never here. I was drinking by myself.
We're a
okay.
civilian
You're here
end
for me.
user. Customer is our customer. It's who we are, and we would love to do military and law enforcement, but it's
But
not
your target
our
audience
game.
is the hardcore shooter, the guy who's into his gear, his suppressors. You're here for him.
Yeah, we're not designing products around a set of specific military specifications or requirements. Our products are more designed for the serious hardcore shooter, your average NFA guy.
You know, it's funny you brought that up because I think a lot of people don't realize that mil spec doesn't necessarily mean it's better. You know,
No.
if they come to you and say, hey, we need you to design a suppressor, here's our goals. Their goals might be, it needs to be hearing safe. Well, to them, hearing safe is 139.9 decibels. That's still going to be loud. So a lot of people want to build a can better than that threshold, and if you go into it with the mindset of building it better than mil-spec, then it's probably going to pass the muster for mil-spec specifications anyway.
Well, and I think there's a lot of ways that the military has driven technology, but not necessarily in silencers. In silencers, the consumer market,
Right.
by and large, has driven the technology and the technology advances that we've seen. For example, the modular silencer.
Right.
That's not going to fulfill any military requirement. If you look at multiple caliber cans that are made to fill multiple roles on multiple guns, that's not a military requirement.
Right.
You're dealing with a very small, specific set
Right.
of guns that you're going to be putting them on.
Right.
Whereas I might put it on 100 different guns in my safe. If I'm in the military, I might put it on 2.
Right.
So the feature set of the modern silencer has largely been driven by the consumer market, not the military
Absolutely.
market. And I think that the military market in a lot of ways is kind of queuing in on that, just like they do in a lot of other items in the private sector, where they go and buy commercial off-the-shelf goods rather than something that a mil spec was issued for.
Right.
So, and I think that'll continue.
Oh, absolutely.
Agreed.
Ghost Sandman mask. Okay, Mike, kick-ass can, super easy to clean, no first round pop, which plagues a lot of cans. Micro version still gonna come out? What's going on there?
I don't know. I don't think so. Not for a long time if it does.
Damn it, I love smaller cans. I already have cans that are super quiet. I want the cool little tiny ones. So,
Well,
how
we'll
about this? How about this? A micro mask with an end cap wipe option.
Well,
Do it.
don't put off buying a
Do
mask. 'Cause for the micro
Do it.
mask, let's just say that.
Oh man.
Well, we
I don't know.
never go out of R&D. We don't
Right.
like stop R&D.
Right.
We're always in R&D. We're always kicking around ideas, but that's pretty far down on the priority list right now. We've got some other projects that you'll get a little sneak peek of in the near
Yeah.
future. Yeah,
Job perks.
you'll get a little sneak peek of that. I think we're not a Me Too can company.
Right.
We don't do things just for
Right.
the sake of, oh, now we got to
Right.
come out with this because
Right.
so and so has this. No, we do things that are new, different, innovative, things that haven't been done before. So if there's an area where we can improve something that's on the market, then that's the area that we're looking. And we watch market trends just like everybody else and kind of look where we need to go. So there are new products in the works, but right now Rimfire is not one of them.
Yeah. Well, just put an end cap wipe in it. I won't have to kill you. How about that?
No.
Deal?
Let's see.
One thing that comes up a lot in my videos as of recent is I've got a lot of requests for using a sound meter in my videos, which is fine. Silencer Shop does that. They do a good job. My video is more directed at the consumer that can go on YouTube, watch the video, get a very succinct, clear, quality video, as if he's at the gun shop looking at the item himself, gets all the details he needs about it, and then he hears the tone of what it sounds like. To me, the tone is way more important than a decibel reading number. You guys aren't going to fudge any numbers from your factory testing. You have nothing to hide. We all know that if you test it outside in Georgia and you come out here to Florida,
It's going to be different.
the numbers are going to be different, the pressure's different, humidity's different. It's going to change a little bit. So to me, it's not a quantifiable
It's
enough
it's
difference.
quantifiable, but it's not repeatable.
Right, but for me, the difference isn't enough for me to do it and bore my viewers with more data than they actually need. We have a very protected way we film our live fire, and you can hear in the video the difference in tone from can to can, and you can hear the first round pop and how loud the report is and echo back and stuff like that. To me, that's more important. Is that something that you guys are kind of leaning more towards, tone versus numbers?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah? Gary, anything?
Yeah, I mean, the sound decibel numbers, the decibel readings, they are, the only standard is mil standard, 1 meter to the
Right.
left,
On the muzzle.
and yeah, and when you do that, it doesn't give you a very clear picture of how the total package of the can performs.
Or sounds like to the shooter.
Yeah, or sounds like, because what I tell people is that kind of testing is really kind of more about observability. It's testing that was designed more kind of for the target, more so than the shooter.
Right.
And there hasn't been a standardized way to do at-ear silencer measurements, which is something that I would really like to see, and certainly something that we're working on, because the sound decibel reduction number is something that doesn't tell you really anything. And as you see, as more people gain experience with silencers, like you, like us,
I don't have any time with this.
Yeah, when I first got a silencer, I was all about, give me the quietest one.
All right,
Give
that's
me the quietest
I
one.
didn't care how long it was. I wanted the quiet as can be.
Absolutely, and that's the way that I was too, and I think that's the way a lot of people are when they first get into it, and that's not wrong.
Right.
And I think it's important to provide that baseline standardized testing number,
Right.
and that's something that we'll continue to do. But as you get more experience with silencers and you get more experienced users, they care less and less about that.
Right. Do they want to know back pressure? Am I going to get splattered in the face when I'm shooting wet?
Tone, back pressure.
Tone's huge.
Yeah.
What about port pop?
Port noise.
The pressure's a little too high here. Now when the port opens and the pressure drops, now as a shooter you're getting a higher pitch sound from here.
And I certainly hear that. And,
Yeah.
and a lot of customers I think hear that too. And so as you progress past I just want the quietest can,
Right.
then you start to think about things like that. And that's where everything else comes into play. And that's where testing like what you have, I guess we'd call it true audio.
Right. Okay.
A true...
trademarked NFA review channel. We have true audio, so yeah.
True audio.
Yeah.
As we get into more realistic audio representations of what a silencer actually sounds like
Right.
through the work that you're doing, you'll have better information for the consumer to be able to actually hear what it sounds like. As we get more, silencers become more mainstream and they're in more stores, and you get the opportunity to actually go out and shoot two side by side.
Right.
You'll see. You'll be able to tell the difference in them. And your ear doesn't lie. And it's all about building a silencer for the shooter,
Right.
which is what I tell people we do. We build silencers for the shooter,
Right.
not for the target.
And real quick, everybody at home, there's a huge difference between somebody that designed this can to a higher frequency pitch or a lower pitch. The lower pitch, the sound's going to travel further over distance and then drop off, but it's going to sound more pleasing to the human ear. There's cans out there that have a higher, whinier, tinnier pitch to it, and it's annoying as a shooter, but 15 feet away it sounds great.
Yeah.
Because the sound drops off immediately because the frequency's higher. That's something you have to take into consideration, because if you're buying it for yourself, you don't care if you're really going to bother your neighbors that much with a lower pitch can. I mean, you're going to be annoyed.
Yeah, it's the same reason that you can stand next to a lowered truck booming bass.
Right.
It's putting out a sound pressure level of 150 decibels.
Right.
And you can stand there and it doesn't hurt. It's not painful.
Right.
You're still probably incurring
that's a good
hearing
analogy.
damage.
Yeah.
But you can't stand next to a rock concert speaker
Right.
and listen to a high-pitched guitar solo.
That's also why you can hear that sub hitting from way far away.
Absolutely.
So we pretty much covered that. Switching gears, we're pretty much wrapping it up, guys. I know it's a longer video than you're used to, but when are you going to have an opportunity like this? Scotch and
Next
Cans
month.
with Mike and Gary. Yeah, next
Tomorrow?
month. Actually, yes. If you guys don't know, we have a very large shooting event coming up. It's my annual shoot. The NFA Review Channel shoot is at Aries Firearm Training Range in Leesburg, Florida on April 16th. Go on my Facebook page and you can RSVP on there so we get an accurate head count. Check out the banner. Tons of sponsors. Mike and Gary are going to be there. Rugged Suppressors. Pretty much every company I've ever worked with, they're going to be there to demonstrate all their products for you. Before we leave, I have to ask, Mike, how freaking badass is it to know that not only did you have to form a tank into the country, but if you have a really shitty day at work, you can just go home in your tank and run over shit.
Well, I've never really had to go home and run over anything,
So you
but
never had a bad day then.
knowing that you can, I guess, helps.
I mean, you can buy some cars, put them on back, and just run them over when you've had a
Suppose you
bad
could.
day.
I'd suggest this to anybody. If you're thinking about getting some kind of tracked armor, you should do that.
I had this
It'll
problem.
make
I
your
should
life
just-
better.
It
You've
will.
got room
Yes.
to park it out back here. I've seen it.
Tell a lot of them are going to be wondering some specs on it. Can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah, it's a BMP. It's a OT90 configuration, so 24,000 pounds, 24 feet, crew of 3. It holds 8 soldiers, passengers in this case.
Yeah.
Soon to have
It's amphibious.
a suppressed 50 main gun.
Oh, did you guys hear that? A
50
suppressed
and
50
1919 in the turret.
And let me stop you right there. I think you guys just might have fudged up. Are we going to see 338 and 50 caliber cans coming in the future, you think, from Dead Air?
338, for sure.
Boom, 338
Yes.
Lapua coming to you. All right, guys. One last question. Where do you guys see Dead Air Silencers in 5 years?
Well,
What's your projected path of awesomeness?
we
Kick-assness.
we'll continue to
World
do
domination.
Yeah, well, that's obviously the goal.
Okay.
we'll continue to do what we do and try to bring better products to the marketplace that the consumers want to buy, and wherever that takes us is where we're going to end up. So I'm pretty optimistic at our potential, and I'm very optimistic about our success, and we have had great success already. So I think it's good.
I'm excited for it.
All right, man. Well, let's fix ourselves another drink. All right, guys. Make sure you follow along on Facebook, Instagram, and full30.com. And stay tuned for the review coming to you soon. Whoops. That
It's
wasn't
durable.
important, was it?
It's durable. Yeah, no, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah. On the Ghost from Dead Air Silencers. See you next time.
See you.